Nepal, a beautiful and magical landlocked country that lies between China and India. I'm Kate Yarrow and I'm here in Nepal to continue a journey that began for me 8 years ago on the side of a mountain, which is part of the world's highest mountain range, the Himalayas. Everyone who comes here is touched by the magnetic pull of the vast mountains, the friendly people.
Namaste!
In this film, I'll be following some of the unimaginable journeys that patients have to endure to reach healthcare in remote areas. So come with me on my journey as I uncover the incredible challenges facing doctors working in rural areas and reveal the extraordinary personal journeys of the patients that they treat. Namaste! 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 I'm a medical doctor and I first came to Nepal 9 years ago during the Civil War. I worked with the aid organisation Médecins Sans Frontières and was posted to an incredibly remote area of the country. I was the only doctor there at that time. Whilst working at the hospital, I met a young health assistant. Namaste, Lalits here. How are you? Lalit was desperate to train to become a doctor, so I decided to sponsor him.
How are you?
Very good, very good.
Very perfect.
You looking good?
Yeah.
You're feeling healthy?
Yeah.
Lalit's here.
Okay.
We found you. I want to understand more about the living conditions in Nepal and how these impact on health. So Lalit and I head off to the far west of Nepal, to the village where he grew up. Our journey will take us from Kathmandu to Nepal Ganj, through Surkhet, right up to Manma, high above the Karnali River. We've arrived, I think. God, what a bumpy journey. So I think that's the end of the road, where we're going to abandon our lovely Jeep and head off by foot. Perhaps after a little bit of dusting down.
Dust.
Look at that. Let's go.
Yeah.
Bye. At dusk, we reach a small isolated hilltop village. We're lucky to have porters to ease our load. As we walk, we pass people who are on their way to a health post. It soon becomes apparent that the only way to reach medical care around here is on foot. This family have to walk for 3 hours to get treatment. Their 7-month-old baby has been unwell for a number of days.
She's quite dehydrated.
She seems quite alert and well, but a little mildly dehydrated. So this is suggesting rehydration, which would be oral rehydration. You can't get IV fluids around here. And also suggesting not to go to the pharmacist, because by going to the pharmacist, they try and sell them tablets, and the baby probably doesn't actually need tablets. She needs rehydration. So we've been walking for 6 hours now, since about 7 o'clock this morning, and I'm pretty tired, to be honest. We've just been informed by Lalit that now apparently the real climbing starts. We've got 2 hours of pretty much straight up over this pass. This is the top of the pass, and this monument marks going into Calicut, which is the district that Lalit is from and the district that he now works in. So, what do we do with this, Lalit? We have to leave these as an offering. Having known Lalit for 10 years, we've become incredibly close, almost like brother and sister.
We are becoming a two family in different two countries. So I have a English family in UK and she has a Nepali family here.
I was extremely honoured to be invited to Lalit's graduation in 2013, and it really signified the culmination of years of his hard work. Lalit's married with 2 children, and when not working in rural areas, stays in Kathmandu with his in-laws. We celebrated after the ceremony with his family. There you are, Dr. Lalit. Ooh. Cheers. 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 Happy graduation. Good luck as a doctor. Lalit's making his mark on his community, working in the local hospital close to where he grew up. So how does it feel to be the doctor of your own village?
Actually, it's so nice, I feel so proud with this village because they all love me. And when I grown up, they love me.
Do you think some of these guys might be doctors one day? The future of Nepal?
I hope so.
News has spread that we're doctors, and we're diverted to see an elderly man who's unwell. When did he get sick? So we've been asked to come in and see this chap. Looks like he's chronically unwell with a condition called nephrotic syndrome. He's been diagnosed a while ago in a teaching hospital in Nepalganj, where he obviously went when he was initially sick. He's clearly come back and he's not in a very good way at the moment, and by the look of it, he's only got 3 or 4 tablets left. Do you have it in Manma Hospital, spironolactone?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah,
So could someone bring it back for him, rather than taking him?
I just suggest him that to bring a more...
The difficulty with someone like this, he's clearly really unwell. And how does he get from here to Manma? How would he get from here to Manma? I mean, he can't walk like this.
Most of the time they used to carry on the basket.
So they put him in a basket on someone's back.
Yeah.
One of his family are in Manma, so hopefully they can get someone and bring it back for him. And then he won't have to go there himself. But the problem is if he deteriorates, there's not much choice for him around here. We've just heard that there's a pregnant woman who sounds like her pregnancy might be in trouble, so we're just going to go and have a look at her. She's got abdominal pain. When did it begin? About 5 days and bleeding for about the same amount of time. She's 5.5 months pregnant. She's had 2 children and various miscarriages, and she hasn't felt the baby move for about 10 days. And she looks quite unwell at the moment. So we're just going to examine her and work out what the best plan is for her.
Yeah, pulse is around 80 per minute and blood pressure is 100 by 70.
We decide that she urgently needs to be seen in a hospital. And the closest hospital is Manma, which is where Lalit works, which is 4 to 6 hours by foot, and it includes going right down to the bottom of that valley and back up again. So they're going to find some porters, and there's a stretcher in the village, and they're going to rotate 4 people carrying her because she can't walk. So we'll be following her journey and see how she does. We head to Manma Hospital in the sweltering sun for what may be a 10-hour walk. It's over 30 degrees. I'm exhausted and I'm not pregnant and I don't have someone in a chair on my back, so God knows how they feel. It's not uncommon for patients from remote areas to have to walk up to 9 days to reach healthcare, as each district only contains one hospital. Having finally reached the road, luck's on our side. We eventually managed to hitch a ride in a passing jeep. It's just too dangerous to travel at night, and we're desperate to get to the hospital before dusk. I've just had my first glimpse of the hospital for about 4 years, and I am completely stunned by how different it looks. The amount of building works that have gone on since I was last here, it doesn't even look like the same hospital, to be honest. Manma District Hospital serves a population of 140,000 and treats on average 50 people every day in the outpatient department. Our pregnant lady has arrived too. She's fortunate there's a doctor at the hospital who can scan to find the cause of her bleeding. It's always a tense moment, waiting to see if the baby is alive. So how many weeks do you think she is?
Here it's 21, 22 weeks.
Okay.
22 weeks.
By date 23.
By date
It's 1 plus 1.
Yeah. So it looks good?
Yeah.
Everything's okay, yeah.
Sorry.
They decide to keep her in for treatment for a suspected urine infection and further monitoring. On average, 40 babies are delivered here every month. But not all births are straightforward. In the labour room, there's been an emergency delivery. Looks like there's a very sick baby who's been resuscitated who was born here this morning. She's not breathing, so he's breathing for the baby. Specialising in reproductive health, I'm particularly interested in the problems surrounding childbirth. It sounded like it was a very difficult delivery, and it looks like the baby has at some point gone downhill, and so they're resuscitating it. At the moment they're breathing for it. Very difficult situation with very limited equipment that they've got to hand. I mean, they're doing an amazing job. Such is the life of obstetrics. It's risky business wherever you are in the world, and unfortunately here, I don't know what happened in the labour, but I did hear it was a difficult labour. When you can't monitor what's going on adequately, then babies can get into trouble, which means that when they're born, they have difficulty breathing, and I think that's probably what's happened there. And it looks like the baby had some fluid on its chest that they were trying to remove. So it probably aspirated, breathed in meconium, which is its own poo, during labour, which means that when they're born, they have a lot of difficulty breathing, but in this environment, they've got incredibly limited resources. You know, they're doing their best to resuscitate it, but they don't have ventilators or anything, so Unfortunately, it doesn't look very good for that baby at the moment. Can I have a look? Poor baby. I mean, she's still having difficulty breathing, really. She's showing signs of respiratory distress, and she's very floppy. You can pick up her limbs and they just fall back down again, which is not a great sign, to be really honest. Has the mother actually held the baby or anything? Do you not think she should? What can you do?
This is what we can do here. There is really limited things we can do here. Sometimes, fortunately, this machine are working right now. There is no electricity. Sometimes, solar can go anytime. So anything can happen in between. So at least there is oxygen. So it is a big thing to be here.
Yeah. Otherwise she'd have nothing, exactly. Yeah. Before we leave the hospital and head back to the UK, we check up on our pregnant lady. How's she doing today?
She's fine.
Feeling better?
Ali राम्रो भएको छ?
She looks much better than 2 days ago.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And what do they think about having you available in the village?
Like a god came in their house in that situation.
Well,
They are so happy.
so they were very happy.
Yeah.
It's really good to see the improvements, like the fact they can give oxygen, which we couldn't do when we were here, and the fact they've got power, well, most of the time, which is a massive improvement. But I guess it's still up against such enormous limitations. Just lack of equipment, a massive lack of equipment. That poor baby, basically all they've got is fluids, antibiotics and a tiny bit of oxygen. And it probably needs to be intubated, needs support. May not have got into that situation with monitoring during labour, so it's, the problems are still here, aren't they? Better, but still there. The baby's condition deteriorated still further. A few minutes later, with her mother by her side, the baby sadly died. On my journey, I've seen that there's a whole new generation of doctors who are willing and able to work back in their communities, who have a far superior understanding of local health needs than any foreigner. Training more doctors like Lalits to work in rural areas will undoubtedly have a positive effect on the development of healthcare in the Himalayas. My journey here in Nepal has come to an end, but for all of these people, their lives and their journeys will continue. I have been really touched and moved by some of the stories that I've seen. But despite the huge challenges faced by these people, they show such strength and resilience in these difficult situations, and I personally am going to go away with a huge amount of hope for this country.